hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and this is the Paranormal Portal Night Terrors, and hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for joining us right here on the Paranormal Portal. I really appreciate it, of course. If you're not already subscribed, please do like and subscribe, and share the word. Let people know. I would appreciate this continuing to grow. It's been doing great lately. Got lots of new people finding us. The numbers keep going up, and that's really exciting, of course, because we've been at this several years now, and it's kind of fun to meet new people, to see new people taking an interest in the Paranormal Portal, and I have all of you out there to thank for that, because I've never advertised this at all. So as people are maybe just stumbling onto us as well, but I think a lot of it is you guys, good word of mouth. And that's the best advertising anybody could hope for. So thank you guys so much for that. I appreciate it tons. The podcast is doing well. Just as a point of reference, in case you are a follower of the podcast, formerly we did 3 episodes a week, but now we're going back down to 1 now. So we're just doing 1 podcast a week, and the plan is to release them every Sunday. I'll keep an eye on that and see, how that's looking. It may adjust by a day or something, but I think Sunday's a good start. I know a lot of people that have listened to our podcast historically have listened as they were on commutes and stuff, and I realize a lot of people aren't on commutes again yet, but I figure, well, at least at the start of the week, it might offset some Mondays, some Monday mojo. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes, but definitely let people know if they're interested in the paranormal, about the Paranormal Portal podcast, as well as our YouTube channel. They are not the same thing, just for the record. They are 2 very different shows. So throughout the course of our show tonight, the phone lines will be open. If you want to call in and share something of your own that's happened, something paranormal that you have experienced, or would like to talk about some phenomena, then feel free to call in, and the number here is 720-923-0500. So would love to hear from you guys and hear what you have to say, but I'll be here waiting, and I'll do my best to keep an eye on it. Some nights I get really engrossed in what I'm doing, and then I'll look over and there's calls on the board, and some have been there for many minutes. So I'll try to be as responsive as I can be, but please be patient, and don't fill up the chat with, hey, there's a call, because the chat replay is of course played on these archives on YouTube, and that that really won't have any bearing on anything except for that one moment. So please don't fill the chat up with, there's a call. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess I'm ready. I hope you guys are ready, because it's time for bed. All right, so we are at it and underway here officially now on the Paranormal Portal. So let's dive right into it, I guess. Unless anybody had any questions, show of hands. Anyone? Sorry, I just crack myself up sometimes. Let's continue on here. I've got some stories pulled up for you. So let's start with a story that's coming out of Illinois or Illinois. It might be Illinois, though. I'm not sure. I'm not local there, so No, I don't know. I don't know why they bother with the S. I always wonder that. I suppose it must be a word from somewhere that that's just how it's spelled. But Illinois, I don't know why they bother with the S. Just saying. Could be NOY and be fine. Save one letter. No, I'm just being stupid. It happens, ladies and gentlemen. You get the comedy for free. I mean, what can you ask for? What more could you ask for? All right, so let's go to Illinois. This one has to do with family and friends visits. And I think these stories are generally really cool because in many cases people are in a bad place due to losing someone they love. It's a big empty hole that we, the survivors, carry around because some of these, people were so amazing and important. And then to all of a sudden just have that come to a screeching halt in your life it's just painful. It's just painful. So I love the stories where people are visited by these loved ones and they have a chance for just a little bit of closure and a little bit of a reassurance that those people are okay. I think what makes death, at least part of what makes death so hard, is the unknown. We don't know. These are people we love and we care for. And, we, in the course of their lives, we would take a very, vested interest in how they were. Was everything okay? What's going on? Is there anything wrong? And then to suddenly, boom, it's over. But where did they go? What are they experiencing? Are they okay? And it's just these mass of concerns that's just the result of love. We love these people. So it's hard not to know, but it's really great when they do come back and they do give us that reassurance and that understanding. Look, I'm great. A lot of times that's happened. My grandmother gave me that message herself. It was really cool because prior to her passing, by a number of years, I was a younger adult, but I asked her, because my grandmother was never a spiritual person. I think she was spiritual very much in her own way. But I asked her, I said, well, what do you think happens, at the end of the journey? And she said, I don't know. I said, well, do you think we go on? And she said, I don't know. and it was this look on her face that looked like concern, like she really didn't know. But it was obviously something that she was starting to think about. And, I talked to her about what I thought. And, we had a really nice conversation. So it was really cool when she came through in a dream. And I really believe it's real. And some people may say, well, that's just your mind. You're just coping with this loss and this is how you processed it. But I don't remember my dreams. And I don't know that there's any harm in believing it's real anyway. I think it was. I really honestly throughout my entire being do. But I don't know. But the first thing she said is, I'm doing great. I'm fine. Let everybody know I'm wonderful. And it was just like, wow, this is really cool, because it's one thing to believe in something, but it's another thing to know it. And at that point, I knew my grandmother was okay. And that was really reassuring, really comforting, because she was probably one of the most important people in my whole life from a very young age through my entire life. So to know she was okay was really great. And so let's go to this story and see what this person has experienced. It says, after much mental convincing, I've decided to finally tell a story that I have experienced. Now, this story is not about seeing any apparitions or hearing any voices, but I certainly felt the presence. I'll give you a little background to my story before I progress. This is serendipitous as hell. It says, my grandmother died when I was 9 years old from breast cancer, and it was very hard on me. My grandmother and I were extremely close. I'm now 19 and still think about her constantly, and how much I miss her. This past summer, I went to the doctor to have a routine checkup. I'd never had any problems before, so when a doctor has done the examination, I was shocked at what he had to say. During the breast examination portion, he said that he may have found a lump. For those that don't know, a lump could indicate breast cancer or other abnormality. Well, my head was spinning as my mom and I left the doctor's office, and I was in a daze and could not snap out of it. I was so scared that I might have breast cancer, and the doctor told my mom and me that we need to get in touch with the hospital and have an ultrasound performed to either confirm or refute the lump. The next day, my mom was able to get me into the hospital. The exam went fine, and the nurse at the end of the exam was able to tell us that there was no problems, and I was fine. I can't describe the huge weight that was lifted off of me after hearing that. Now, as we were leaving the hospital to go back to work, was when the experience happened. I was staring outside of the window as my mom drove, happy as a clam for the fact that I did not have breast cancer, when I saw it. I am a firm believer in seeing things and that things have meaning. Well, while driving, we passed a white Oldsmobile from the mid to early 1990s. I looked at the license plate and my heart skipped a beat, and I suddenly was unable to say anything. The license plate had said Peggy 94. Remember my grandmother from before? Well, her name was Peggy, and while she was living, she drove a white Oldsmobile exactly like the car I was looking at. The 94 took me a few seconds, but then I realized my brother was born in 1994 on my grandmother's birthday. It took me a few seconds to recover. I turned to my mom and I asked her if she had just seen that. My mom asked me what I was talking about, and so I explained, because by the time I had looked out the window again to point out what I was talking about, the car had already zoomed by. A few days later, as I was relaying the events to someone else, my mom confessed to me that she had teared up when I told her what I had seen. I truly felt my grandmother with me on that day, and I believe that she sent me a sign to let me know that she was never really left my side, even after all these years. That's cool. And it can take the form of symbols. It can take the form of symbols. And I don't think that they all have to be incredibly, profound apparitions for it to be someone you love. I think sometimes it can just be a smell. Just a smell. Like, it might be a smell from, like, I think that my cousin, who was a very important teacher to me in my younger life and a very important person to me, there was a certain smell of her home, and it was a very, very pleasant smell. And every once in a while, even to this day, I'll be sitting on the couch and that smell will come to me. I'll be sitting anywhere. I'll be doing anything. And suddenly that smell comes. And instantly, boom, I know it's her. Like, to me, that's how she communicates with me that she's close. And so I think if you ever catch these random weird smells, that those are messages. There was one simple way to communicate a presence. Now, there's a lot of people like to, say that spirits have only so much energy, and sometimes it's hard to manifest big things or whatever. And I don't know that that's true or not. I mean, nobody knows. We're all just speculating on that. It could be true. It maybe is, but maybe it's not. Maybe they can do whatever they choose, but they just choose to, work with the smallest possible messages they can. Maybe that's easier. Maybe it's much more complicated to do something bigger. I don't know. I don't know how it works. But a smell, I think, is one of the most powerful senses that we have, because it can take you to a whole different time of your life. Just one simple smell can just tell you, can bring back a whole part of your life, a whole narrative of stories and stuff. It's so powerful. And we discard that kind of stuff really easily. Like, oh, that's a smell. Reminds me of my uncle. He always wore a cologne like that, or something. And I think that to dismiss those things, you may be dismissing somebody, stopping by, checking in on you. Now, you can believe that or not, and it's entirely up to all of you guys, what you believe and what you don't. But I think they're around us all the time. I think that they're always paying attention, and they don't have to sleep. They don't have to do all of the things that we have to do. They don't have to focus on, bills or, cooking food or whatever. I mean, none of that stuff is part of their reality anymore. That's a very physical existence. So they can just spend time with us. They can be in our shadows and guiding us through whispers or thoughts or inspiration or smells or whatever. I think that they do send us messages all the time. I just think we have to learn how to hear, and I say hear, as a symbolic thing. I mean, sometimes it could be sounds. Sometimes it could be smells. Maybe it's just a quick image flashing through your mind that reminds you of someone. And those all could very well be messages. So I think it's powerful and important. Take it or leave it. All right, let's go to the next one. And this one is coming from Colorado. And this one is having to do with a haunted life. And the haunted life stories are generally very, a whole lifetime of experiences. It's not just one or two. Very many, generally. Gotta get a drink. Sorry. All right. The familiar snap of a plastic cap. Just like Mom used to make. Sorry. All right. Again, I amuse myself all the time. Sorry. So Colorado, this one says when let's see. Blah, 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 blah. So this is kind of a recap though. I don't want to do this one because I don't know what the hell the original story is, and we've already read it, so I don't know where it is. So I'm going to skip this one. Sorry, but if it's too far away from the actual story, then it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. That looks like a question and answer that somebody had done. They had apparently got some questions about their experience, and so they did a whole nother submission regarding those questions. So the next one's going to be Iowa, and has to do with miscellaneous events. It says, I'm currently in a long-distance relationship with my boyfriend who's serving in the U.S. Air Force. It's hard being away from each other, and it really consumes my mind. I often find myself thinking about him at night when I'm trying to fall asleep. Sappy, I know, but it's true, and an important note to the story. A few nights ago, February 12th, 2009, I was in a light sleep state, and I was drifting in and out, hearing the television out in the living room, and then silence. Suddenly, I felt sort of electric. It was a weird feeling. The best way I can describe it is when your hair is staticky and you rub staticky, and then we just had static. That's funny. And then you rub it close to another object and get that weird feeling as your hair moves. I had my eyes closed while this was happening, thinking I was falling asleep, but this new feeling just baffled me and brought me out of whatever state of sleep I had been in. So I opened my eyes only to find that I was not in my room, but instead someplace else. I'll assume it was my boyfriend's dormitory. I don't actually know what his room looks like since I've never seen pictures. But he claims my description is really fairly accurate. It's a small room with enough space for two bunk bed tops, and a desk beneath each of them, sort of like a dorm room in a college without as much decoration. On the right bunk was my boyfriend, twitching away in his sleep. And on the other, some unidentified male, I think, is his roommate. My boyfriend is a violent twitcher when he sleeps, not in the sense that he punches or kicks, but especially when he's having a particularly bad dream. Without thinking, I reached out to grab his arm to wake him up, but a heavy, not pleasant, but most definitely uncomfortable feeling overcame me, and I closed my eyes, starting to let go, and almost immediately I found myself back in my room with my alarm beeping at me, proclaiming that it was 6 a.m. I went through the week and all weekend thinking nothing of it until I got a call from my boyfriend, claiming that he had the weirdest dream. He'd been sleeping and dreaming about terrible things. I've been asked not to post those specifics, but when he woke out of his sleep to see me standing there looking at him. He blinked and I had sort of faded away, so he just assumed that it was just some kind of remnant from his dream. Either this was my first out-of-body experience / astral projection, or we both managed to have a surprisingly similar placed dreams. Wow, that's really powerful. I think she's right. I think that she did project to him, or OBE, either one. Kind of the same thing, but that's very powerful. Wow. I wonder what the bad feeling was. Never really talks about that. So I grabbed his arm with a heavy, not unpleasant feeling overcame me, and I closed my eyes and starting to let go. Huh. That's pretty powerful. Very powerful stuff. All right, the next story is from Hawaii. I like the ones out of Hawaii. There's just so much, I don't know, there's such a natural energy to Hawaii. I mean, the whole place is really just alive. And perhaps it has something to do with being on the volcanic ring of fire with active volcanoes around that is just such a wellspring of spiritual energy. I don't know. But it's got to be something, because there's some real magic on those islands. There really is. But let's see what the story says. It has to do with family and friends visits. It says, it was hard to come to terms with the fact that my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. That seems to be a theme tonight. My family relied heavily on her, our leader, and she struggled a couple of years before being hospitalized. My father stayed by her side the entire time that she was there. In May of 2003, the cancer became too much of a burden, and she passed away. Our family was traumatized. She was a wonderful person, always smiling and offering help, her help to strangers in need, and she indeed possessed the aloha spirit. She always put everyone before herself and was concerned for everyone's needs. I have a close-knit family, so we pretty much spent our days off together. During this time, however, was hard for us. Everything we did reminded us of our mom. Our home became very dreary and dismal, and my father took the loss so hard. He loved her dearly. He's a large man, 6 feet tall, 300 pounds, but after her passing, he lost weight like crazy. In less than a month, he dropped 20 pounds. He had an incredibly hard time sleeping, and my brother and 2 sisters were becoming very concerned for his health as well. One day, me and my sisters were off of work, which was rare, since my brother and his family came up from the Big Island for the funeral and support for my father, and we were all together. We decided to go out and do all the things that Mom enjoyed doing on the weekends. Our father decided he would rather stay home alone. We didn't push him because we knew he still needed time just to mourn. We actually had a wonderful time together. It felt like our mom was right there with us, enjoying everything we were doing. At the end of the day, we all headed back home. I drove the family van, and the vehicle was stuffed with bodies. We laughed and had a great time reliving what we experienced with Mom when she was here. It was the most fun we had together since her passing. As we approached our house, we could see that the lights in the living room were on and the television flickered onto the window blinds. I pulled the van into the driveway, and the headlights bobbed up and down as we entered the garage. The lights flashed into the open front doorway, and as it did, we could make out a shadow. The shadow was too small to be my dad, and as the car leveled out, I could make out the figure from our beams, and at first, I could not distinguish who it was. She was a young woman around 30 and had long, dark black hair with a great big grin on her face. As it finally hit me, one word escaped my mouth before I jerked the van into park and bolted to the front door. Mom. I dashed into the house so fast the figure pulled back from the kitchen doorway, heading into the living room. My niece came darting into the house as well because she saw her Nana too. As I approached the living room, I was surprised to see my father asleep on the couch. My father looked up at me and said, "Hey, babe." And I asked him if he was all alone, and he said that he was. And asked me why, and I told him. I saw Mom, youthful, standing in the doorway smiling as we came home. He told me that he had not felt so at peace as he did, and he was able to actually get some rest. He said it was like Mom was home and everything felt like it did before she left. I was just happy to see him finally getting some sleep. After this visit from our mom, the air in our home changed. Everyone seemed to be happier and talked and more at peace, and it almost felt at times like Mom was going to walk from her bedroom as we ate dinner or talked about our day. It was such an amazing moment in my life. Being the youngest, I was always stuck to her. Everyone in my family called me Mama's boy, but I didn't care. That small visit from her was enough to satisfy my curiosity of how she is doing in the afterlife. I still miss my mom like crazy, and she still comes to me in dreams every once in a while. But it wasn't until we saw her that night that gave our family life again. My father also picked up a little weight and began to sleep easier as well. She was always concerned about everyone, and I think this was a way for her to care for us, even though she isn't with us spiritually or physically anymore. Wow, very cool. It's funny. It's funny. The show just kind of creates itself. It's really weird because I said all the stuff at the beginning about the family visits, and now we've had several stories of the like. And it's just really neat. There was a time when I started doing the Paranormal Portal that I tried to plan it. I tried to plan out episodes. I tried to plan out what we were going to do and what I was going to cover and things I wanted to talk about. And it just dawned on me eventually that the show kind of just does itself. All I have to do is just turn on the lights and just go. And a theme will evolve from it. Like a storyline will evolve. Like there's some underlying message to it. And I really wish I could claim credit for that. I really do. But I can't. I can't take credit for that. It's just the way that it works. But it's just like things just seem to fall right where they need to land. And these shows just write themselves. It really is cool. It's a sign. I always assume that life gives us indicators. Like there's things that happen in our world to let us know how we're doing, because it's hard to know sometimes. How are you doing? How are we doing? Are we doing the right things? Are we on the right path? Am I making the right choices? Where do I go? And I'll tell you, one of the barometers that I rely on really heavily is when there's a lot of serendipity. If things seem to flow from one end to the other and things fall together, I always assume that that's because I'm in alignment. I'm in alignment either with myself or the universe or all the above or whatever. And when things flow easily and things seem to manifest themselves, then I always consider that I must be on the right path. This must be where I'm supposed to go. And I remember being young and hearing from people in my life. They knew from a very young age what they wanted to do. And I never knew. I was always like, God, I'm so jealous of all that. I was so jealous of the fact that everybody seemed to know where they were going except me. I felt like I was the only one that never knew where I belonged. Where did I fit? And I'm getting a little autobiographical, but this is just truth. I'm just giving you this truth. And it wasn't until, obviously some parts of my life made sense all by themselves. Being a dad, being a husband, being those things made sense. And that part was fine. But what did I want to do? What did I want to accomplish? What did I want to bring into the world? And what did I want to leave the world with, and leave to the world? And it didn't ever seem to find anything. Made several attempts in my life, did several different things, but it wasn't until I started doing the portal that I felt like I'd come home, like I had a home now. I had a place where I belonged, and I had a mission, a feeling of this is what I want to leave. And, this is the legacy that I want to build. No matter how big it gets, if it never gets any bigger than it is today, that's really just fine. I mean, of course, I hope it gets bigger, but it's about what kind of footprint can I leave in the world? I wanted to matter. I always wanted to matter. And I think doing this show is when I really knew that I'd found what I wanted to do, the legacy I wanted to build. And it just really rocks my world still, the way these things just form. And I really appreciate that, because that is the magic, right? That's the magic. So I don't know. Maybe you didn't care to know any of that. I'm making an awful lot of assumptions here, but it's my show, so you get to hear everything, whether you like it or not. But we got a call. So let's see who's on the phone. This is area code 845. You're on the air.
Brent, you know who it is. It's Carlton.
It's Carlton. I don't know. I just want to let you have an introduction there.
Hey, I totally share all your sentiments. And, it's funny. I went through the same thing, like trying to figure out, like, what I wanted to do. What do I want to do? Such a wide diversity of interests.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt like, man, it's just hard to find, like, what's the right thing for me? It was so frustrating. And it's really only in the last couple of years that all those pieces have started to form together. And it's kind of hit me like, oh, all these things actually go together.
Right.
They felt so different from each other, like everything
disjointed.
From computers to radio to electronics to plants to biology to insects. And it was like, I'm scattered all over the place. How do I figure out where I'm really trying to go with this? So I totally share that sentiment. And it's nice when you see it all click together and you kind of go, oh, this all has been going somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you finally kind of become aware that there always was a plan. It didn't ever feel like it,
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to support what you're saying, and love the show, Brent, and keep up the great work. I think you're hitting a lot of good hearts and minds in a great way, and I think on another level that maybe we can't all even see. I think you're helping people
cool.
move forward in life in a positive direction, and I totally agree that sharing that positive influence. What kind of ripples do you want to leave in the pond? Good ripples or bad ripples?
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the encouragement as well, and the support that you all have given us. Everybody out there listening, all the support of everybody. You guys have made this amazing for sure. So thank you, man. I appreciate it a bunch.
All right. Well, thank you, Brent. Keep up the great work.
Okay.
I'll be listening.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon. And thank you to Brandon. Oh, that was very sweet. This man just spilled his heart and soul on us. Keep rocking. Aw, that gives me tears. Thank you, guys. I don't ever want to get all sappy with this, but it's just nice to know, like, I've been looking for home, and it's nice to know that I found it, and it was right here with you guys. So thank you for that, and thank you for being a part of my family. And I really do mean that sincerely. I know that a lot of people say they deliver platitudes like that. Oh, you're part of the family. But I really do consider this a family of people. And, every day. That's why I look forward to doing the shows. So you guys are the family. Thanks for being a part of it. And, please keep coming back. Please don't leave me here. But it's a beautiful thing. It is just a beautiful thing. All right, let's continue going on to our journey here. Oh, thanks, Chris. I'm a sappy pappy. That's me. I'm all sappy pappy here, but yeah, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. All right, let's go to California. Now that I got tears, my eyes are going to start burning. Oops. Got to wipe them. Just real emotion. What can I say? I'm just being real with y'all. Sorry. I got this oily skin too, so it makes my eyes burn when I start rubbing them. It's a downhill slope from here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to California and see what the hell's going on there. It has to do with Ouija boards. I don't share the feeling a lot of people have about Ouija boards. I think they can be dangerous. I think they're oftentimes misused, but I think they can be used safely. I don't think the item in and of itself is inherently evil, but I think that there's ways to appropriately use it and correctly use it, and I think that most people don't know what that is. So I would always caution anybody, if you're going to play with a Ouija board, do a lot of research, do a lot of understanding. Not only, it's like, let's see, how can I break this down the best? Anything like that, which is an oracle of sorts. Whenever you're going to utilize an oracle, you've got to prep, you've got to prepare, and you've got to set a stage. You've got to set your mind. You have to get to the right mindset. It's, it's a communication. It's a connection to the other world. Now, most people will use a Ouija board and never have much happen at all. It'll just be kind of silly and fun, and it's therefore a game to some people. But other people will use it and have all kinds of profound things go on. And I think that it has everything to do with the individual. Just like I've been telling you guys, my theory is that the observer and the observed create a circuit in the paranormal, and whatever that observed phenomena is. And so the same is true, of course, for things like Ouija boards. You are utilizing or attempting to connect with spiritual entities, and you may try to aim it like, "Hey, I'm reaching out for Grandpa. Grandpa, are you there? Grandpa, I'm calling you." But you don't know if Grandpa's answering, and that's the problem. So that's where the preparation is so important. But it can be a powerful tool. It can just be a silly thing, and it will depend completely upon the people using it and how are they able to channel. Because when you use a Ouija board, you become a blind channel. You're just kind of connecting and saying, "Is anyone there that wants to talk?" Well, yeah. There might be a lot of things that want to talk, and are you sure you want to answer? So just be careful. That's my caveat. All right, so let's see what this story is from California, having to do with the Ouija board. I've always been enchanted by the occult. Now, first of all, let me just say this. When you hear the word occult, a lot of us are like, or the ears go back, and it's like, whoa, occult. But occult is just a word that means hidden. Just for the record, most occult systems are not inherently evil, don't have anything to do with devil worship or evil at all. There are those that do, but they are not, not one and the same. They're not all one big, boat. So I just want to throw that out there first and foremost. When I made a spiritual bond with my first tarot deck in shopping with my friend, a coven leader, my curiosity bade me to get my feet wet and speak to an old acquaintance about speaking to those beyond the grave. Being a communications major and intensely curious as to the workings of the mind and feelings after death, I thought it would be a good place to start. Not consulting my first friend, the coven leader, before the experience may have been a mistake. But I don't want to trouble him with such things if I don't intend to join his coven. About a week ago, I had decided to get in contact with a medium. I had spoken to this medium I had spoken to online about conjuring ghosts. Well, that's not just medium then. If you're conjuring, that's a whole different thing. I originally had intentions of speaking to a particularly needy spirit who was always desperate for contact. When she gave me the instructions about going about it and told me to keep several words and characteristics in mind during the ritual, well, I did so. It took me a few days of preparation. Luckily, with the latest storm, there was rainwater to be had, which was necessary for the preparation of the homemade purified water. I'd been told that blessing rainwater with salt would increase its potency. In addition, I left 2 iron nails out in the night to charge in the moonlight. As I'd been instructed, I hadn't realized that I should have used more iron scraps at the time. Perhaps that was part of the problem. Several nights ago, I laid out a dark blanket in my room. Closing the doors and ensuring that I would have no disturbances, my younger sister, who has no idea that I've attempted to dabble in spirit communication, was happily ignoring me while playing on the computer in another room. I poured salt in a circle around me, as I'd been told, and placed the iron nails I'd sprinkled in the purified water and meditated, attempting to get in contact with the spirit. Within minutes, as I relaxed and got into a deep trance, I felt something compressing my chest from the front. I swayed slightly, not fighting the sensation, but it was very insistent. I ended up leaning back, and what felt like a caress on my neck rose up to cup my chin, pushing my head back insistently but not painfully. There was no chill, just a tingling sensation, followed by pressure. When pressure was applied to my body, however, the tingling sensation wasn't present in the areas it was pushing. I wondered at that point if my definition of attention hungry matched the spirit's definition. I wanted a spirit that would be thirsting to speak, as it would be an easier target to speak with than a reluctant one. But it wasn't speaking, it was pushing me down like I imagined a forceful lover would do. What was strange is that I didn't feel at all apprehensive about it, but welcomed it. Normally, I can't stand people touching me around the neck or chest, let alone both. And being pure, no one's ever done that in person. I'm normally frightened by an attempted kiss, let alone having my neck exposed and my back arching from my torso being laid back. Just when I almost teetered back out of the circle, the phone rang in another room. The presence vanished. I tried to call it again later, but with the moon waning and so many clouds about, I'm wondering if I have to wait until next month to charge the iron scraps again. What did I call? Was it really a spirit? Some kind of needy incubus? Whatever it was, I'd like to see it again. Perhaps speak to it some more. I have a real problem with that. I have a real problem with anybody giving people a recipe like that without them, being thoroughly trained. That is such a bad mistake. Well, I don't know. I don't know what kind of training this person has, and I'm assuming a lot from just the narrative of the story, but maybe they have been a practicing cultist for a long time, or occultist rather, not cultist, but I don't know. It's very, very strange. That's weird. I just had a craving for cheese nachos. That's strange. I haven't eaten those in years. Huh. All right, let's continue on. This one is, what time is it, by the way? Yeah, we got time. We got time. This one's from California, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, nope, we got a call from Australia. All right. Hello, Australia. How you doing?
Not too bad, Brent.
All right. Who am I talking to?
Aussie Tiger.
That's what I thought, brother, but I wanted to be sure. So how you doing over there? How you doing?
Not too bad.
Uh-huh.
Because it's just playing on my mind. In the first 15, 20 minutes of the show, I kept hearing something that sounded like wind chimes in the background. I'm not sure if you've got wind chimes and it's windy there.
I do have wind chimes, and they're not far from the window, but it doesn't look like it's windy there. I think I heard them too, and it might have been the TV in the other room, the minions out there watching shows, so it may have just been bleed through from that.
I think it might have been one out the window because it sounded too close. It sounded like it was almost just outside the window type thing.
Okay. Well, they're not right outside the window. They're just... Go ahead.
I thought, and no one else heard it. None of the other people in the chat heard it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did hear that too. To be honest with you, I heard just a faint, and I assumed it was from maybe the television in the other room, but very curious.
Yeah, but the fact that I only heard it in the first half of the show, it's like, and I heard it more than once, and it's like, well, if it was a TV show, it would have only happened once, but it was more than just once.
Okay. Well, that's possible, brother.
I just wanted to, because I wasn't too sure, that's all.
Right. Yeah.
I just wasn't too sure, and it's like, I better make sure I'm not freaking going nuts there.
There is, some sounds are of course more important than others to each of us. I mean, some of us can channel those things out or just close those things out pretty easily, but it could be something ethereal. I'm not saying it's not. I did hear something in the headphones as well, but I just assume it's from the other room. I don't know. I mean, when they're out there, it's just too hard to make any claims like, yep, that's for sure spiritual or that is not. I always err on the side of.
I was just playing too much with my head, and it's like, I better just go and just make sure.
Yeah, he likes to sit on a couch just outside of the door, and the TV's just outside there too, and so it's most probably that is what I'm guessing, and I'll listen back after the show to be sure. But yeah, he loves those children's shows, and there's this one that he watches that has to do with this wishing tree, and I think maybe that has a lot of tinkly sound effects on it. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, whatever it was, it sounded like it, but who knows?
Oh man, so how's things for you out there? You doing good?
Yeah, it's just cold. That's all.
Is it getting cold now? Man, my heart goes out to you, but
yeah, we're heading into winter, and yeah.
So the part you're in of Australia, it gets cold, eh?
Yeah, southern parts anyway.
Oh, okay. Go north, young man. Go north. Get away from the cold. Get away.
Yeah.
No, brother. I appreciate you calling in about that, though. If you ever hear things, please just call in. I know I've been told there's orbs every once in a great while. So, and I have checked out the footage, and there's some weird anomalies that I can't explain. They're very rare, but audio things, I mean, that's always a possibility too. So by all means, call me whenever you want.
Yeah, like I said, I just had to confirm because I wasn't sure if I was hearing things because no one else in the chat was hearing it. It's like, I better make sure because I was just playing with my head too much.
I hear you, brother. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it. It's great to hear from you.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Good night, brother.
You know.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think, with him right out there, it's most probably something he's doing. All right. So let's see. This one is from California. Oh, this is sleep paralysis. I'm not really in the mood for sleep paralysis tonight. But that really wasn't intended to be a joke. It's just that the sleep paralysis stories are so similar, and there's not a lot new that happens in them. I'm going to read this one, though. This is coming from Virginia, and it's a haunted places. Let me grab a drink quick. This will probably be the last one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I've got some ideas, by the way. I just want to throw it out there to you guys. I got some ideas for some, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say anything yet. I got some ideas for these shows that I think will make them a lot of fun. I got to explore some ideas first, but it's going to be a bit of investment on my part, financially and for preparation and stuff. But I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I'll just let you guys know when I got it ready to go. I was thinking about just asking you guys what you thought, but we'll know when we do it, I guess. But just know that it's very interactive. What I'm planning will be very interactive and should be really entertaining. So I'm looking forward to it. As it develops, I'll let you know more when it's time to unveil it. But It's going to be fun. It's exciting. It's exciting to continue to think about the show and think about ways to make the show better. And this is an idea I'm convinced completely it's going to make the show a lot better. So I'll let you guys know more as when it's time, but it's going to be fun. I'm really excited about it. But okay, this is Virginia, and it has to do with haunted places. Just some minor updates on the Norfolk, Virginia apartment building. It has changed owners a lot since I've moved in. Actually, 3 times so far. Every time the landlord reworks one of the apartments, small stuff starts going haywire. The biggest thing to date is that someone just came into the living room feeling. It's been happening more frequently, and not just to myself. Plus now, it's adding sounds to the feeling. And I've had friends over who've experienced it as well. Allow me to explain a little about the layout of the place to those of you who may not have read my other story. My apartment is a large I or H shape. You enter a small foyer with a closet straight into the living room, which is long, about 20 feet by 12 feet. An archway in the wall branches off into the hall/kitchen area. The main kitchen is on the right side, 6 foot by 7 foot, and the fridge and a small nook on the opposite wall. The hallway narrows, ending in a three-way set of doors. The bathroom's on the right, the bedroom straight ahead, and a small pantry on the left-hand side. Due to the construction of the building and layout of the apartments, it's rather hard to hear anything from the opposite end either way, living room to bedroom or vice versa. To counter this, we have a wind chime on the front door outside and a set of bells inside, plus an electric wireless doorbell, which rarely ever stays working. One case in point, I and my friend Jay were in the bedroom on the PC waiting for my husband to get home. We were surfing the net, and suddenly I heard what sounded like the chime or bells. Jesus. Can you believe that? It was just Aussie calling in about chimes or bells, and there you go. Boom. It just came up in a story. The chimes or bell on the front door as if someone had opened or closed the door. This was accompanied by the feeling that someone came into the apartment. I glanced at the clock and noted it was nowhere near the time my husband was due home, and just ignored it. 20 minutes later, the event repeated itself. Again, I checked the clock, and again, I ignored it. 15 to 20 minutes later, again, I heard the bells, and this time my friend looked towards the living room and asked me if my husband was home. Nope, it's just the apartment acting up again. She knows about the ghosts and has experienced them as well. But I heard the bells. Yep, he's not due home until later. 2 more times that evening, we heard the bells. The interval between was getting shorter and shorter. Finally, we heard them again, and I had enough and shouted, "That better be you, Jay." And to our happiness, my hubby strolled into the bedroom with a look on his face. He's experienced the silence of the apartment and the strange feelings, so he fully understood when we explained what had been happening. It doesn't end there. Just this past week, I'd gotten sick at work and went home a little early. I tried to lay down and rest, and every time I lay down, I'd hear something. First, a knock on the front door, which one cannot hear from the bedroom unless they pound on the door or sitting in absolute silence. And then someone rang the doorbell, which at the time was not working. The batteries on the sender unit are dead. And then someone knocked on the living room window, then the bedroom window. For about 3 hours I tried to sleep, and something kept waking me up. The last straw was a loud rap on the front door. I got up and raced to the door and threw it open, yelling, "What?" Well, of course, nobody was there. Well, other than this last part, it's been quiet, but it never stays that way. More updates will come as things happen or we move, but thanks for reading. Gotta love those, don't you? Just gotta love them. I saw someone said Paranormal Portal peeps. Oh, Rick, how you doing? Good to see you. thanks for coming in. But unfortunately, we're all on the way out. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you guys so much for being here. Keep staying tuned for more developments as my idea comes to fruition, but I'm working on it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Let me just say that. It's going to be great. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for being here. Please follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Paranormal Portal Radio. Please check out the podcasts if you haven't already. They're available on iHeart, iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, Google Play. God, there's just so many platforms that we're on. So whatever platform you use, chances are we're there, and we'll be on Stitcher very soon. All of that is in motion. It took a little longer for us to get actually on there, but it's in the works and should be up within the next day or two. So keep watching. If you are a Stitcher user for your podcasts, we'll be available there soon. Good show, Brent. Thank you, Gemini. I appreciate that. You're welcome, Treva. I appreciate you guys being here. Hugs and love to you, Chris. It's been an hour already. Yeah, I know. It goes so fast, Annie. But I love that. I mean, I love that it goes fast, because if it goes fast, we're all having a good time. If it goes slow, then something's wrong. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for you, but I'll be back tomorrow night with Dawn here on the Paranormal Portal. Remember, on Thursday, we're going to be doing it's going to be a daytime stream. If you're not busy, not doing anything, tune in. I'm going to have the Irish Bigfoot Research Organization on, and we're going to be talking about a big project that'll be being unveiled soon. Well, at least you'll know about it soon. Maybe you already know about it, but they're going to be on the show on Thursday, and we'll be discussing what they've been up to, what's going on, and what to expect. And then I'll be doing a Thursday night show as well. So you're going to get 2 shows on Thursday. I think I'm going to do a night one, but stay tuned. If you're waiting for announcements, go to Facebook, Paranormal Portal Radio, and I'll let you know for sure about the Thursday night show, but I think I'm going to do 2 that day. So I hope you guys will tune in to both of them and help support everything that's going on. But please spread the word. Keep spreading the word. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And I'll be back with Don tomorrow night, and we'll see what kind of mischief we can get into. So love you all, and sweet dreams.